Hello everyone, I'm Jinyu. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, I'd like to ask everyone, have you ever had an experience of getting a fishbone stuck when eating fish? What should you do if you get stuck? Many of our friends might choose to swallow hard to push it down. If it doesn't go down, many of us use a fold method, such as taking a sip of vinegar, eating a bun, or swallowing a big mouthful of rice. Sometimes we're lucky and the bone disappears. However, there are also times when this method backfires, making the fishbone get stuck deeper and harder to remove. In fact, there are some self-help methods in the folk, but some methods work and some are not very effective. Often many people fall into the misunderstanding. For example, taking a sip of vinegar can soften the fishbone and then swallow it, but taking a few sips of vinegar and staying for just a few seconds, can it really soften? If you try to swallow hard at this time, I tell everyone that it is actually quite dangerous because eating and swallowing will only push the fishbone directly from the throat to the esophagus, so you could have taken it out from your throat. But you swallowed it hard, and as a result, it was sent to our esophagus and finally to the stomach. But if it gets stuck in the esophagus, let me tell you, it's bad. Some people have esophageal scratches, causing inflammation and bleeding, which is quite painful. So, especially the elderly and children are prone to getting stuck in the throat. Especially as we get older, our nervous system is not sensitive, and if we're not careful, it gets stuck. Children are also like this. For example, when coaxing children to play, the most feared is a small button, a bottle cap, and the child accidentally puts it in the mouth, right? So, this is very dangerous. If it is not found in time, it may choke, and the consequences are very serious. Every year, there are quite a few people who lose their lives because food is stuck in the esophagus. This is not to scare everyone, so every day, strange things may happen. So adults and children are not immune. Some people may say, Teacher Lee, are you making a fuss? I used to get stuck eating every day and I swallowed it hard and there was no danger. How serious is it? I can only say that the rest is due to our esophageal mucosa cells, which protected you. Because from this point of view, I will explain to everyone and you will understand. You must know that the process of swallowing food is from our throat to the esophagus, and then to the stomach. The esophagus is prone to getting stuck. The passage from the throat to the stomach is composed of countless esophageal mucosa cells. What is the main function of the esophageal mucosa cells? The most important function is to secrete mucus, forming a mucus layer like a mucous membrane, which can lubricate and protect your esophagus. Because of this mucus layer, the entire esophagus becomes very smooth, and the food you eat, like a slide, can smoothly reach our stomach, but it's not always so smooth. For example, if we eat something hard and don't chew it well, and it's still quite large, if you're not careful how to swallow it, then at this time, the esophageal mucosa cells will secrete a large amount of mucus, wrapping this thing and then avoiding injury to our esophagus through this mucus packaging. So, if you accidentally eat something like small fish bones, chicken bones, etc., and it doesn't get stuck, it's because our esophageal mucosa played a role. However, some foreign objects are too large, and the mucus secreted by the esophageal mucosa can't wrap it at all, and it gets stuck in our esophagus and even scratches our esophagus, causing bleeding. So, I advocate that when everyone eats, they should chew slowly and swallow slowly. And it's best not to talk loudly or laugh. Confucius had such a saying: don't talk while eating. Don't talk while sleeping, which means you should not talk while eating and sleeping. From the function of the esophagus, it is actually afraid that if you talk while eating, you may get stuck inadvertently. So, the things passed down by our ancestors are not unreasonable. Moreover, not only humans have an esophagus, but animals also have an esophagus, especially some animals. Some of them will also expand and form a what called a crop, which temporarily stores food and has the function of preliminary digestion. Speaking of this, I think of when I was a child, I saw the big goose raised at home. In the process of feeding this goose, if you want to know whether the goose is full, everyone can see which one. Look at this part of the root of its neck. It can bulge a big bag, a bulging one. If you have never seen it or have not raised a goose at home, you may not know. Then we touch it with our hands, and you can feel the food he has eaten. These are his esophagus. Some birds' esophagus will also expand to form a crop, which is a bit like a bag for storing food. So, it is necessary to send these foods to the stomach. Our human esophagus does not have this function, so our esophagus itself has no digestion and storage function, only the function of transmitting from the throat to our stomach, playing a role in transportation. And this conveyor belt is very smooth enough to transport these foods smoothly to our stomach. However, as the years pass, the esophageal mucosa is also prone to aging, and we will have a series of diseases. The common one is esophagitis, which is because the intestinal mucosa cannot secrete enough liquid, and it cannot protect and lubricate the esophagus well. Such an esophagus will become very dry. If you think about it, when you eat, you're often stuck, and sometimes it induces esophageal edema, congestion, and inflammation. For example, we have all seen ice skating. When ice skating, the track is very smooth and tidy, with no obstacles or bumps. Otherwise, people will fall. The esophagus is the same. If the mucous membrane is damaged, the entire esophagus will also have bumps. So, esophagitis occurs, you will feel pain and difficulty in swallowing. And it is also easy to appear behind the sternum, sometimes causing vomiting. This is very common and is called reflux esophagitis. It is also easy to have food reflux, so we often have acidic liquid flowing directly from the stomach to our mouth after eating and at night when sleeping. This taste is not good. If the esophageal mucosa has a problem, it is a reaction. If the esophagus is serious, it may also have ulcers, very painful, and this pain may extend to the back, especially easy to cause bleeding and sores. So don't look at a small esophagus, about 25 centimeters long, but you must remember that if it is not properly conditioned in time, the consequences are very dangerous. Many people often say that esophagitis is an old problem of several decades. When they were young, they may have passed through some spicy and irritating foods. And some people love to eat hot, such as in the southern regions, chunky hot pot, right? Those who love to eat spicy often have a lot of people with esophagitis. Overstimulating the esophageal mucosa leads to damage to the esophageal mucosa and affects the lifespan of food. In our northern region, when people reach a certain age, many people have esophagitis. These are all due to the temptation of food. in addition to the reason that the esophageal mucosa has aged. Although there is a big difference between southern and northern diets. As people get older, esophagitis may occur. According to our esophageal mucosa, some people are older, but their bodies are very good and they are very well maintained. Just like driving a car, some people cherish it and the parts are original and it rarely breaks. So, in the process of using it, it can extend its life. In fact, we humans are the same. If you exercise, drink tea, and pay attention to your health, can we reduce the chances of getting sick? That's the truth. If we often don't pay attention to anything, the chances of getting sick will be greater. So, if we find a problem, we should adjust it as soon as possible. Well, back to the main topic. How should we condition esophagitis in our daily life? I will teach you a method. There is a saying, radishes and cabbages ensure safety. So, our material is the stem of the cabbage. That is, you cut the cabbage into shreds, boil it into water, and sprinkle some salt. Before eating, you drink a bowl of cabbage soup. And be sure to drink it slowly because it has a clear heat and anti-inflammatory effect. It is not only good for esophagitis but also very good for stomach conditioning. But these things seem very simple and they're not worth money, but the effect is great. So you can try to use it. For some friends with esophagitis, the best maintenance in daily life is not to eat spicy food. It is best to quit smoking and drinking. Pay attention to small meals, but it is best to eat semi-liquid food. Semi-liquid food can be light, and you can slowly drink some porridge. This is what we often say. Drinking soup before meals is better than a good prescription. So we can drink a little soup, which can also lubricate our esophagus and reduce stimulation. At the same time, don't eat too much for dinner, eat too full, and don't lie down immediately after dinner. In this way, we say it is best to raise the pillow by 10 to 15 centimeters to reduce the reflux of food at night, which is very good. But in daily life, maintain a pleasant mood. Increase physical exercise such as sports, kung fu, tai chi, etc. are all very good. If you're squatting, bending over, and moving heavy objects, you should also pay more attention. I hope that in daily life, you can protect yourself well, protect our esophageal mucosa, and protect the organs of our body. Only in this way can your body get better and better. Your maintenance today will lay a good foundation for your future. Well, this issue is shared with you here. Thank you for watching and see you next time. If this program is helpful to you, please forward and share it with more people. Let love pass on and benefit more people. Goodbye.